We certainly made it that way, you know.
Yeah, second chance points. And, you want to talk positive or negative? I mean,
Whatever you want to do. It's all coming anyway, so it doesn't make a difference, right?
Yeah. DeMar, 36 fourth quarter points over the last two games. I mean, I know we've asked you about it multiple times, but what does that do for a team to have that kind of poise and play down the stretch?
Well, you know, I think the one thing he's doing a really good job, and I give him credit. Like I think we were up maybe 2 or 3. And he made a great pass to Iowa, and he generated a really, really good look for Iowa. It's kind of some of the things we talked about pregame. You know, we've got to have somebody else take those shots other than DeMar when he gets doubled, and they sent 2 at him. And, you know, his willingness to pass the ball early in the game, late in the game, and just kind of read the defense, you know. And he's got obviously incredible poise, incredible experience in those situations, but I think just having him and his willingness to give those other guys confidence in those moments helps. And he sees driving lanes when he can drive and when he can pull up, and then he knows when he's got to pass. And I thought he generated a lot of good looks for our guys throughout the entire, 48 minutes tonight.
What was your view on the late game scuffle with the bench and John?
Yeah, I want to look at it, see if I can get a better look at it. I mean, what it appeared to me is I saw DeMar get fouled. I don't know if he was grabbing his face or holding his face. I think Torrey said something that obviously came over. Chris Fleming, I think, was trying to hold everybody off to kind of separate. And then from there, it just kind of escalated, and I was just trying to get everybody else. At that point, I kind of stepped in to kind of break it up a little bit. So, again, I think for us, I don't look at it from a Utah situation at all. I look at it from our situation, and we've got to be better, in those moments, in my opinion, because, not only, did we lose a point on a technical foul, we also iced our free throw shooter.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I give DeMar a lot of credit for being mentally tough enough. And, I understand the emotion and the intensity of games, but at the same point, too, whether it's complaining or upset or frustrated, it's not helping anything. And we've got to be able to do a better job than that all the way around. And I'm not just saying the players are on the bench, everybody. We've got to be better in those moments.
You're usually very well thought out as far as the pulse of your team. At this point of the season and where you guys are, is it just get a win however you have to get it, or is it concerning to you, like you've expressed before in wins, that yes, it's a win, but it's not a win that is going to reflect or be sustainable come play-in time or come playoff time if you guys happen to make the playoffs? I mean, are nights like this frustrating for you even though they're a win, or you just take the W and say, hey, we had to ugly it up. We uglied it up. Let's just get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I think it's a great question, because one of the things I've talked to those guys about is, if you want to get to a point after April 14th that you're playing in a situation that are meaningful games, not to say that the regular season is not meaningful, but like obviously everybody's playing for that moment. There are things that are going to happen in those games, the physicality of the games. Calls are not going to go your way. The ability to rebound the basketball and physically put your body in place. The loose balls, the diving on the floor, all those things. And I think we've had 2 games in a row right now that we were able to overcome some of the defensive rebounding. And tonight we're able to overcome it. But you're not going to overcome it, against the teams that are still left playing after April 14th. So to me, I think that we have these opportunities to try to, hopefully they can drive home the message. But that's what, even I talked about the same thing, offensively. Okay, it's great, sometimes you play against a defensive team that's maybe not stout and great, but okay, is that going to work against a top 5 defense? Is this going to work defensively against a top 5 offense? And I think that's the way you have to measure yourself. So we talk a lot about that, the stuff that's sustainable in those moments. And, what's not sustainable is giving up the number of rebounds that we've given up, missing out on some of those 50-50 balls. Now, we came up with them. Caruso had some unbelievable ones. Io dove on the floor. Like we did some really, really good things. I think we can get better. I'm going to say it's like all bad. But there's things that happen, and this is what I say. It's like when scouting's out of the game, right? And a lot of times scouting is out of the game in transition rebounds are up on the glass, someone's isolated one-on-one, there's a loose ball. Like, there's no scouting report for that. It's like, go compete, go play. Can you control your emotions where you miss a couple shots, you don't get a call, things are not going well, you pick up your foul, you got to come out of the game early. There's a lot of things that we've got to be able to do, and I feel like our guys are working at those things, and I think we got to get better at those things. But to your point, you always like coming out of a game like this with a W, but can we really look at this game and say, we're not going to be able to get away with some of that stuff? And I'm not taking anything away from Utah. They played well. They competed. You know what? Like, to me, I thought it was like from a physical standpoint, I thought it was like a playoff type of game today. Forget about their record or where they're at, but the way they went to the glass, 2 offensive rebound, same thing with Sacramento. Like, that's the feeling you're going to have, postseason, if we're fortunate enough to get to that place.
Billy, you mentioned the Mars passing. What'd you make of Ions tonight?
I thought Iowa was really good. I thought he had some opportunities with some open looks. He didn't shoot the ball great tonight. That's okay, but I thought he really made some good looks. He got Vooch in the pocket. He skipped a couple passes across the floor. I thought he had a couple opportunities in the break that we just kind of botched some fast breaks, but he competes, Io. He just competes, and he doesn't get rattled. He keeps composure. He just keeps playing. It wasn't, like I said, a great shooting night for him, but he impacts the game in a lot of other ways if he's not making shots.
You mentioned the offensive rebounds. What do you think you were able to do to kind of turn those off?
It's our guards. When they're coming downhill or shots going up, right, a lot of times most big men are locked up under the basket. So your blockout responsibility is basically right in front of you, right? It's right there for the most part. It's all in the perimeter. Our guards are in the right areas, but they're not hitting people enough. And they're letting people run through us and over us and around us. And I thought in the first half, a lot of it was our guards. And then we did a better job in the second half. But, like Kobe really did a great job on the possession they got back. Like, he went after the ball. And even though he stepped out of bounds, he went after it. I thought when the shot went up from Sexton at a corner, that we all went after it. But we got to do that all the time. It can't be, okay, this is the last possession. This is the only, we have to do that for 48 minutes collectively as a group. And, I think it's one of the most amazing things in the NBA. Nick, nobody blocks out. Nobody does, but what happens is, really good teams that know how to rebound and are smart and got an IQ, they gather extra possessions, extra fouls. So you got to, and again, it's not like the old high school blocking out, but you got to at least turn and look, and we've got to be better turning and looking. And we do it sometimes, but we got to be more consistent.
Who'd you have, Collins or Fleming? Who you put your money on?
We're done.
Jeez.